Let's ask Trevor Sikkema who he thinks. Let's bring in PFF's lead draft analyst, co-host of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Great to see you, Trevor Sikkema. Who is your anytime touchdown scorer for that Dublin game between the Steelers and the Vikings? Tough.
I don't know if I like DK, honestly. Well, it kind of depends. Depends what his matchup is. I got to shout out our system and say that you talked about him having a good connection with RODGERS. Well, there's a RODGERS on the other side of the field, Isaiah RODGERS, who's the corner for the Vikings, who had the only and highest 99.9 single game grade in PFF history last week. So I don't know. That might be a little bit of a tough matchup, but the more I think about it, DK, he's got to show up for this team. So you know what? I initially was going back and forth about it, but I'm going to ride with you on this one. I'll say DK. I'll say DK gets in the end zone.
We'll go DK. I mean, that Isaiah RODGERS will never be repeated. No. It's PFF has been doing great since 2006. And there has never been a single game 99.9 grade. And he got it last week. I was talking to Terry and Arnold and the Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain, about it. They were gushing about it. And Pat goes, if I could ever come close to a stat line like that. And I'm just like, this Isaiah RODGERS kid is amazing and needs to come on my show as well. Trevor, let's bang through some of these matchups. Week 4 is here. Bucks, undefeated. Love them for you. Love them for me. Love them. 3.5 point underdogs at home against the 3-0 Eagles. This is a great game. When you're using the number crunchers over at PFF, what's the one thing that pops out?
So, first and foremost, it's phenomenal to get to root for Baker Mayfield for your favorite football team. I would highly recommend it for everybody out there. I really would. The matchup that I'm looking forward to this one is Saquon Barkley sort of being the X factor. And I get it, it's Saquon Barkley. Everybody says that. But this matchup specifically is a big deal because the Buccaneers have given up the most passing yards and have the lowest coverage grade when covering running backs out of the backfield as a receiver. Saquon, he gets used a lot as a receiver. He has the 8th most targets for running backs so far this season, but he's just 27th among all running backs in receiving yards. So they give him the football. He just hasn't been effective with it as a receiver yet. This is kind of the matchup where you can exploit that a little bit. Levante David, future Hall of Famer, by the way, I must say. He has sort of struggled a little bit in coverage this season, as has his running mate at the second level, Savasier Dennis. If they can't get that right, that really could be the X factor in this one, which could help Philly win this one on the road.
I want Philly to be up in the fourth quarter, and then I want Baker to do Baker things. That's all I care about. The score, I'm sure you have a great... The line, find FanDuel Sportsbook, go have fun responsibly over there. I just want the comeback situation. I just want him to be in those situations. Literally, I know it's kind of a heart attack for you, I'm sure, but also it's like why he's so fun to root for, to watch what happens there.
100%. I mean, 3 game-winning drives already this season. I mean, he had the one against Houston Texans on primetime where it looked like he was hurt, and then C.J. Gardner-Johnson starts jawing at him, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm healed. Nope, just kidding. Somebody was talking crap to me. Nope, not on my watch." So it's always just such a blast to watch him play. But honestly, Todd Bowles also has the Eagles number, like nobody else in the NFL does. Todd Bowles does. They've only beaten the Bucs one time since 2013, and I think they've faced 4 or 5 times in the last 4 or 5 years.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he is one of the only defensive coordinators, or I know he's a head coach, but defensive-minded guys who actually has been able to slow down the Eagles and Jalen Hurts in this one. And Bowles, I mean, that defense for Tampa Bay is incredible to start the season. They have the most unblocked defensive pressures of anybody in the NFL, and that's not because they're just playing horrendous offensive lines every week. They're scheming this stuff up. So they're scheming it up. They're scheming up pressure better than any team in the NFL through 3 weeks. And so it'll be interesting to see how they play against one of the best offensive lines.
If they beat the Eagles.
When, Kay? When?
I just love this for them. I love this for them. I think, yeah, they have such high expectations for themselves. I have them going to the NFC Championship game. Baker's never been. I'd love Baker to go. I think we should all root for Baker to go. They got to get past the Eagles, who think that I hate them. I don't. I like what's going on with Tampa. Ravens Chiefs. Oh my gosh, what a weird vibe going on both sides. Baltimore favored by 2.5 at Arrowhead. They're underdogs twice now at Arrowhead. How do the Chiefs avoid a 1-3 start?
They run the ball. I heard you talking with Chase about this. They have to be able to run the ball, and this is the week for them to do it. The Ravens, surprisingly enough, I mean, Nnamdi Madubuike and Kyle Hamilton are fantastic players on the defense, but the rest of the unit is just not playing well. Roquan Smith has a little bit, but they've got to have their best game against the Chiefs. They really do. They are dead last in team PFF run defense grade. And they are dead last in EPA per rush allowed through 3 games this season. Now, what you were talking about with Chase is, okay, well, the Chiefs haven't really been able to run the ball. This is how they have to get it going. Talk about the lack of explosives that the Chiefs have had over the last 2 years. It's because they can't run the ball. It's because teams are saying, okay, we're going to say you have to beat us on the ground. We're not going to let Patrick Mahomes beat us. And unfortunately, over the last 2 years, that's been the big Achilles heel for them. So the run grade hasn't been good this season, but this is sort of the get right opportunity for them. And, you know, again, you guys were talking in the last segment. I was talking with a friend of mine. He said, hey, you know, if this was in January, I'd be taking the Chiefs. To be honest, this feels like January for the Chiefs, because if they go 1-3, they're to Jacksonville next week. Then they play the Lions. Then a couple weeks after that, they play the Bills. Like, they need this game at home. So this is about as close to playoff Pat that you're going to get in the regular season as we're going to see here.
I mean, there's playoff Pat, and then Pat can't do everything. Like, it's like,
it's true.
And we say, like, they have to run the ball. I don't know why it's not working. Like, you brought in, who's the third running back? I can't think of his name. You have Kareem Hunt. You have, obviously, Pacheco.
Brashard Smith, the guy they drafted.
What's going on there? They brought him in for these, I don't understand. I don't watch the tape or whatever, and the numbers can crunch themselves, but, like, run the ball, or, like, not if, I don't know if, like, it's that simple. I don't know if there's something else going on there. I don't know.
I'll tell you what it is. You know, obviously you mentioned Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco. They're strong power backs, but they're not these dynamic speed backs, or at least Kareem Hunt doesn't feel like he's like that anymore at this point in his career. But it's the offensive line. It really is. When you look at this offensive line, the impact run blocking plays aren't there for them the way they have been in years past, and I think that's an issue as well.
Certainly is, and we got to get a lot. I mean, Hollywood Brown has an opportunity, his former squad. Like, let's effing go, bud. And we'll see Xavier Worthy, hopefully. Those are my PFF rankings. Okay, Colts. I like this Colts team, too. I like when the teams that I like make me smart, because I'm, like, in on them, and then they, you know, if the Bucs are one of those teams, the Colts are, too. They are 3-point underdogs. They're in L.A. They're here taking on the Rams. Jonathan Taylor, best running back in football. He's up against this Rams defense, though, they said, Saquon, nope, you're not gonna do your thing against us. Who wins this matchup?
I'm so excited for this game. This is honestly my favorite game of the entire weekend, just to see how it plays out, because the Colts have been absolutely magic. They are tied with the Detroit Lions for the highest EPA per play average in the NFL through 3 weeks, which is incredible to see. But they're doing that because they're extremely balanced on offense. You mentioned Jonathan Taylor, who looks like an offensive player of the year front runner right now with how he has been playing. But they're going up against a Rams team that is extremely stout up front. 75.3 run defense grade as a team, 81.3 run defense grade last week against the Eagles. Like you mentioned, they were very stout in that regard. The Colts have been running the ball so well that they have faced only 9 3rd and 7+ situations so far this season. That is by far the lowest amount in the NFL. But when they have faced that, their EPA drops all the way from number 1 to 21. So do the Rams defend the run well enough on 1st and 2nd down to get Daniel Jones in those 3rd and long situations? That's what I'm really looking forward to here. I still think the Rams win it. They're one of my favorite teams right now, even with the loss.
They're a tough out. They're hungry from a loss to the Eagles that they hate, that they lost track of in the second half, so they're going to be out to kill at home. Daniel Jones, by the way, PFF's 6th best passing quarterback this season, behind Josh Allen. You love to see it. Okay, last one here for you. Packers. Oh, this is a great one. God, there's such good games this week. Packers favored by 6.5 against the Cowboys. Of course, the only thing I think of is Micah here. Is he the reason Dallas falls to 1-3?
I think he is going to be a main reason why they're going to fall to 1-3, because you look at this situation, and I just don't think the Cowboys' offensive line is good enough right now. They're not playing really well against the tackles. They're missing their starting center, and Cooper Beebe, who is out. Like, they're just going. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, is going to place Micah wherever he is most advantageous. And I know the Cowboys know him really well, but I'll tell you, Dak's got to play a lot closer to the version that he was in Week 1 than he was in Week 3. It's hard to see exactly what Dak is going to be as the season goes on. But Week 1, he looked like, you know, when he was the runner-up for MVP back in 2023. If we get that Dak in this game, I know a lot of people look at the line and they say, oh, my goodness, like, oh, the Packers are going to run away with it. I'm not so sure if he plays like that.
You can check out new episodes of the NFL Stock Exchange with Trevor Sikkema, Connor Rogers on YouTube. Thanks to PFF. Thanks for making us smarter here on a Friday.
Thanks, Kay.